Emily was walking down a bustling city street when she caught a glimpse of a homeless child huddled in a corner. Something about the girl's appearance struck a chord deep within Emily's heart. She couldn't shake the uncanny resemblance the child had to her own daughter, Lily, who had gone missing years ago. As Emily was nearly shaking due to the sight of the young homeless girl, the girl herself seemed to have no idea who Emily was or what was going on. She met her eyes for a little while holding up her begging cup. But when Emily failed to move toward her wallet, the little girl quickly shifted her attention to other people passing by. All that was going through Emily's mind was that this could simply not be true. The longer she looked, the more this girl bore a striking resemblance to her daughter Lily, who had gone missing years ago. Of course, her first thought was that this could actually be Lily. But then why did she not recognize her mother? And then there was something else. This girl looked very much like the Lily she knew and loved. But she also looked nearly the same age, just a lot more disheveled. How could that be possible if this was actually Lily? Emily needed to find out more, but how would she even approach this? Just approach this young child and ask her if she was her daughter Lily who had gone missing 3 years ago. Ever since that fateful day, Emily's life had never been the same. She had been a single mother to her only daughter Lily, and this little girl was the center focus of her life ever since she was born. Her father had never been in the picture as she had been conceived during a one-night stand. But that did not matter to Emily. She was perfectly happy with it just being the two of them. It was a difficult life, but to Emily it was perfect. At least, until the day that Lily suddenly disappeared without a trace. Emily had just woken up one morning and her daughter was gone. No sign of forced entry, no sign that she had run away. Nothing. Like the little girl had just disappeared into thin air. It was Emily's worst nightmare come true. Ever since that day, Emily had done everything in her power to find her daughter back. She had, of course, immediately called the police when Emily first disappeared, and they had searched far and wide for her without any success. After the police had given up, she had set up search parties, spread awareness, and everything else she could think of to find her daughter. But after 2 years of trying, she still had nothing. That was the moment that Emily had to accept that she would never see her daughter again, and try to move on alone. That was probably the hardest part of it all, as she had devoted her life to Lily. She had been trying, but even until now she was still very much struggling and close to giving up. But seeing this girl had sparked something inside Emily again. She needed to know the truth about her. The more Emily thought about it, the less she felt like she had any other options. But to just talk to her. She was not leaving this place until she knew for certain whether this was her daughter or not. And so, a still dead nervous Emily took a couple of steps towards the girl and sat down next to her. This, of course, confused the girl very much, and she did not say anything to Emily. She just stared at her in silence. Emily took a couple of deep breaths to regain her composure. Then she started by saying to the girl that she did not want to scare her and that this might sound crazy, but she looked just like her daughter who had gone missing years ago. The girl just looked at Emily like she was crazy. Then Emily asked if her name did not maybe happen to be Lily, but the girl simply shook her head no. Emily felt incredibly embarrassed by the whole ordeal. She had obviously made a mistake and profusely apologized to the girl. Emily went into her bag and took out $20 to gift to the girl as compensation. The girl just looked at the money in her hand, trying to process what had just happened. She had still not spoken a word, but she was about to say something incredible. Emily apologized again and got up to leave and continue with her day. But in all honesty, she just wanted to go home right now. These couple of minutes had been such an emotional roller coaster for her, and she really felt like she needed a break now. But then the homeless girl suddenly stood up and yelled something in Emily's direction that immediately made her stop in her tracks. "Mommy?" The words pierced as daggers through Emily's heart. It couldn't be. She turned and saw the girl running in her direction with her arms spread, ready to go in for the hug. Emily could do nothing else but reciprocate the hug, but she did not understand where this was coming from. Had this girl suddenly had the realization that she did actually know her? There were a lot of things at here that Emily could put her question marks at, but with every second that she had the little girl in her arms, she could care less about her hesitations. Being called Mommy again made her heart skip a beat, and she could simply feel that this was actually her daughter. Call it motherly instinct, call it intuition, but this was her daughter, Lily. But was this actually the case? She hugged the little girl as tight as she could, and tears started to stream down her face. She wanted to hear everything the little girl had to say. She wanted to know what she had gone through these past 3 years, why she had disappeared in the first place, and how she ended up on the street, and everything in between those moments. But first, she wanted to get Lily home. Emily, with a heart swelling with a tumultuous mix of hope and apprehension, brought the girl home. Her hands, still trembling with the raw emotion of the day's events, prepared a warm meal and arranged a cozy bed. She aimed to provide a sanctuary, a safe haven where this child, who so strikingly resembled her lost Lily, could feel secure and begin anew. Emily's eyes, filled with years of pent-up sorrow and newfound hope, never left the girl, watching her every move and reaction, silently praying this was the end of her nightmare. Emily moved through the house, her actions almost mechanical as she set up a room for the girl. She filled it with comforts, a soft blanket, a few stuffed animals, and some toys, each item a silent echo of Lily's own room. In every book placed neatly on the shelf and every doll laid gently on the bed, Emily poured her longing and love, hoping to make this child feel as loved and secure as Lily once did. She stood in the doorway, watching the girl explore her new space, a silent plea in her heart for this to be right. The day was spent in a tender dance of caregiving, with Emily providing food, clothes, and gentle attention. She watched the girl, noting every reaction, every expression, hoping to catch a glimpse of Lily in them. With every spoonful of soup and every folded sweater, Emily's care was evident. Her eyes, always observant, sought to understand and connect with the girl who might just be her daughter, returned to her. The weight of years of grief and moments of faint hope hung between them, unspoken but deeply felt. Emily, with a patience born of years of waiting and wondering, gently tried to engage the girl in conversation and activities. She asked soft questions, offered simple games, and shared quiet moments, aiming to build a bridge of trust and rapport in their new, fragile relationship. Each word Emily spoke was a tender step towards understanding, each shared smile a brick in the foundation they were rebuilding. Her heart, heavy with the past and light with potential, beat a cautious rhythm of hope. As the night fell and the house quieted, Emily watched over the sleeping girl, a silent sentinel filled with a surge of hope and an undercurrent of fear. She watched the rise and fall of the child's chest, listened to the soft, even breaths, and allowed herself to believe, just for a moment, that her years of agony were finally over. In the quiet darkness, with the soft sound of the girl's breathing filling the room, Emily allowed herself to dream that she had finally found her lost daughter. Emily, with a soft voice and gentle demeanor, initiated conversations, aiming to draw the girl out and reconnect. She asked about her likes, her day, and if anything felt familiar. The girl, however, remained mostly silent, offering only short nods or shrugs, keeping a distance that Emily ached to bridge. Each attempt at dialogue was a delicate dance, with Emily leading gently, hoping the girl would eventually follow. Together, they shared moments of silence, a quiet companionship in the living room or at the park. Emily respected the girl's need for space and time, sitting nearby with a book or knitting, offering presence without pressure. In these silences, Emily hoped for a breakthrough, a sign that the girl was starting to feel safe, to feel at home, to remember. Emily shared stories from Lily's childhood, her first steps, her favorite games, and the funny little things she used to say. She watched the girl's face intently for any flicker of recognition or emotion. Each memory shared was a bridge Emily tried to build, each story a thread in the web of their past, hoping to spark something, anything, that might connect the girl to Lily. Every now and then a fleeting smile or a familiar gesture from the girl filled Emily with hope. These moments were rare but precious, lighting up Emily's world like a beacon in the dark. She clung to these signs, believing they were buried memories of Lily trying to surface, believing that the daughter she loved was still there, somewhere inside this silent child. Despite the girl's hesitance and the slow progress, Emily's belief never wavered. Each day ended with Emily reading a bedtime story, her voice soft and melodic, filled with love and hope. As the girl drifted to sleep, Emily whispered a good night, filled with the same persistent belief that had guided her every step since the day she found this child, who might just be her Lily. As days passed, Emily noticed small discrepancies in the girl's behavior. She didn't laugh at certain jokes Lily would have found hilarious, or she recoiled slightly at foods Lily loved. These moments sent tiny shockwaves through Emily's heart, but she quickly dismissed them, attributing the differences to the trauma and upheaval the girl must have faced. She told herself that such changes were natural, unavoidable even, after all the girl had been through. Lying awake at night, Emily's mind raced as she began to question her own memories. Was her longing for Lily so strong that it was clouding her judgment? Memories, she knew, could be deceptive, colored by emotion and time. The more she thought, the more she wondered if her desperate hope was painting a picture of Lily that never really existed, a picture no living child could ever match. Emily tried to make sense of the girls' different reactions to foods Lily used to love and activities they used to enjoy together. Each new reaction felt like a small betrayal to Emily's memory of her daughter. However, she rationalized these discrepancies, attributing them to the years they had been apart and the unknown experiences the girl had endured. People change, Emily reminded herself, trying to accept the alterations as a natural consequence of time and trauma. Despite the niggling doubts that crept into her thoughts, Emily clung fiercely to hope. She wouldn't let herself believe that this child wasn't her Lily. Every morning she reassured herself that the girl's altered demeanor and unfamiliar quirks were just scars from her difficult past, not proof of her deepest fear. Hope was her lifeline, the thread she grasped in the darkness of uncertainty, unwilling to let it go. As the discrepancies grew, so did the part of Emily that refused to acknowledge them. She constructed elaborate explanations for every unfamiliar reaction, every strange habit. This denial became her shield, protecting her from a truth too painful to consider. She convinced herself that these differences were simply Lily adapting after years of hardship. To Emily, accepting these changes was easier than questioning the identity of the girl she had brought into her home. Emily integrated the girl into her daily life, involving her in activities like cooking and gardening. Together they kneaded dough for bread and planted seeds in the garden, nurturing them with care. These routines offered a comforting rhythm to their days, a structure within which they both could find their place. For Emily, each shared task was a thread weaving them closer together. Creating a tapestry of normalcy and bonding, every day brought small victories that Emily cherished like precious gems. The first time the girl laughed in the house, a clear, ringing sound, Emily's heart soared. It was a sign, she believed, of their growing connection, a confirmation that the girl was settling in, healing. Each smile, each shared laugh was a victory against the shadows of the past, a step towards a brighter future together. Emily took every opportunity to teach the girl, to guide her through life's little lessons. They spent afternoons reading together, Emily explaining words and stories, or evenings counting stars, talking about the universe. Each lesson was a moment cherished, a memory made. Emily reveled in these moments of teaching, seeing them as building blocks for the girl's future and the foundation of their evolving relationship. As days turned to weeks, a real bond began to form between them. Shared jokes and tender moments filled their time, creating a feeling of genuine connection. Emily felt it in the way the girl would look at her, in the softening of her once guarded gaze, in the comfort of their silent understanding. It seemed they were truly becoming family, their relationship blossoming like the flowers in their garden. Emily decided to take the girl out for a day at the park, a change of scenery she hoped would further strengthen their bond. They walked hand in hand, the girl's laughter mingling with the sound of other children playing. Emily watched her play, her heart full, reveling in what felt like a typical mother-daughter outing, a normalcy she had longed for since Lily's disappearance. Emily's initial excitement slowly gave way to a creeping unease as more inconsistencies in the girl's story and behavior emerged. She noticed the girl's hesitant responses to questions about her past, her discomfort with certain belongings that should have been familiar, and her inexplicable knowledge of things Lily never knew. These unsettling realizations began to mar the beautiful picture Emily had been painting in her mind, introducing a dissonance that was becoming harder to ignore. In the quiet of the night, as the world lay sleeping, Emily found herself wide awake, her mind racing with doubt. The discrepancies, once just tiny cracks in her hope, had grown too significant to overlook. She replayed moments and conversations, each one adding weight to the growing unease in her heart. The doubt that crept in was a shadow, darkening the joy she had felt, turning it into a question that echoed in the silence of the night. Determined to find clarity amidst the chaos of her emotions, Emily turned to old photos and videos of Lily, seeking answers in the captured memories. She scrutinized each image, each clip, comparing the girl's mannerisms, her smile, her eyes, to those of the child in front of her. She searched for undeniable proof, something to confirm or dispel the doubts that had taken root in her mind, something to guide her through the turmoil of her heart. Emily was torn, a battle raging within her. Hope and doubt pulled at her from opposite sides, each demanding to be heard. She feared that her desire to have Lily back was blinding her to the truth, painting her perceptions with a bias too strong to overcome. The conflict was a storm in her heart, a tumultuous clash of emotions that left her feeling adrift, unsure of what to believe or where to turn. Night after night, Emily watched the girl sleep, the moon casting a gentle glow over her peaceful face. In those quiet moments, an unspoken question haunted Emily, a whisper in the dark that refused to be silenced. Is this really her Lily? The question was a specter, a haunting presence that lingered at the edge of her thoughts, its answer just out of reach, a puzzle that she desperately needed to solve. In her quest for stability, Emily took the significant step of enrolling the girl in school. She encouraged her to make friends, participate in activities, and immerse herself in the rhythm of everyday life. It was a leap of faith, but Emily believed that the structure and interaction would help the girl. providing a sense of normalcy and a foundation from which to grow and heal. Emily became a constant presence at parent-teacher meetings and school events, supporting the girls' education and socialization. She understood that these were critical components of her recovery and possibly a pathway to bring back the daughter she once knew. Emily's encouragement was unwavering, her hope undimmed as she watched the girl take tentative steps into a wider world. Every quiz aced, every new friend made, and every successful day was a reason for celebration. Emily proudly observed the girl's adaptation and growth, marking each achievement as a triumph over the past's shadows. These moments were not just milestones for the girl, they were beacons of hope for Emily, illuminating the path they were navigating together. The daily routine became their anchor. Morning breakfasts, walks to school, evening homework sessions, and bedtime stories shaped their days. Emily believed in the power of these routines to provide comfort and erase the scars of the past. Each day was a step, each routine a healing balm, and together they created a life filled with predictability and security. Despite the challenges and the lingering questions, Emily and the girl continued to move forward. Emily's love and support were unwavering, a constant source of strength for them both. With each passing day, they built a life together, a life marked by resilience, hope, and an enduring bond that no uncertainty could diminish. The bond between Emily and the girl deepened with each passing day. Their shared laughter and tender moments hinted at a true mother-daughter connection. Emily cherished the warm embraces, the inside jokes, and the quiet understanding that seemed to pass between them. These were the threads that wove their relationship tighter, hinting at the deep, familial bond that Emily had longed to rebuild. Despite the warmth and closeness they shared, Emily couldn't shake the nagging doubts that whispered in the back of her mind, moments of mismatched memories, of slight hesitations in the girl's responses, kept the flame of uncertainty alive. As much as she wanted to, Emily couldn't fully extinguish the persistent questions that haunted her, lingering like shadows at the edge of their brightening world. They shared precious moments that seemed to bring them closer than ever, reading together under a cozy blanket, laughing over stories from their days, and sharing quiet evening walks became cherished rituals. Each of these moments felt like a precious stone added to the mosaic of their life together, each one significant, adding color and warmth to the picture of their relationship. Finally, the weight of not knowing became too much for Emily to bear. She realized that she couldn't live with the uncertainty any longer. She needed to know if the girl was truly her Lily. This decision weighed heavily on her, a mix of fear and desperation driving her forward. It was a step that could either mend her heart or shatter it completely. With a determination tinged with anxiety, Emily secretly arranged for a DNA test. She did it quietly, not wanting to disturb the delicate balance of their life or alarm the girl. As she sent off the samples, her heart was a tumult of hope and dread. She wasn't just seeking the truth about the girl's identity. She was seeking an end to the years of pain and uncertainty that had gripped her heart. The days of waiting for the DNA results stretched out endlessly, each one a mix of hope and dread for Emily. She found herself vacillating between moments of cautious optimism and deep fear, her emotions swinging like a pendulum. Every phone ring made her heart leap, and every passing day without news tightened the knot of anxiety in her chest. It was an agonizing weight, filled with silent prayers and whispered fears. When the call finally came, Emily's heart pounded with a ferocity that took her breath away. She hesitated for a moment before answering, gathering her strength. As the voice on the other end started to speak, Emily braced herself. This call was the harbinger of news that would irrevocably change her life, and as she listened, her fate hung in the balance, teetering on the edge of revelation. With trembling hands, Emily opened the envelope containing the DNA results. The paper felt impossibly heavy, each word printed on it carrying the weight of years of longing and heartache. As her eyes scanned the document, her breath caught in her throat. This was the moment of truth, the culmination of her journey. And as she read, the world seemed to stand still around her. The results were in, and with them, the undeniable truth. Emily sat in stunned silence, the paper clutched in her hand, as the reality of the situation washed over her. She knew what she had to do next. She needed to confront the girl with this information. With a heavy heart, she prepared herself, gathering the courage to face the question that had haunted them both. Emily approached the girl, the results in hand, her resolve firm despite the turmoil inside her. This was the moment to address the question that had loomed over them, the unspoken mystery that had defined their relationship. With a deep breath, Emily began to speak, ready to unravel the tangled web of truth and lies, hope and reality. As their bond deepened, the girl, now known as Samantha, felt increasingly burdened by the kindness she had received from Emily. The weight of her deception pressed heavily upon her, a growing ache in her heart. She saw the love and hope in Emily's eyes, and it magnified the guilt of her silence. The realization of what she needed to do, of the truth she needed to share, became an inescapable echo in her mind. In a moment of raw vulnerability, Samantha finally confessed to Emily. Tears streamed down her face as she revealed that she wasn't Lily, but a homeless girl named Samantha who had seen in Emily's desperation a chance for escape. As the words tumbled out, a mix of relief and fear filled her. She had laid her truth bare, and now all she could do was wait for Emily's response. With a trembling voice, Samantha shared her heartbreaking story of life on the streets, the cold nights, the hunger, the constant fear. She spoke of the moment she saw Emily, the hope that sparked within her, and the decision she made to pretend, just for a chance at a better life. Her story was a tapestry of pain and desperation, each word a thread woven with the need to survive. Emily sat in stunned silence, her world upended. Shock and betrayal warred within her as she struggled to reconcile the girl she had come to love with the truth of her identity. She looked at Samantha, seeing both the child she had hoped was her daughter and the stranger who had stepped into her life. Her heart ached with a tumult of emotions, each one a sharp reminder of the truth she now faced. As the initial shock faded, Emily began to reflect on their time together, on the bond they had formed. She thought of Samantha's desperation, her story of survival, and slowly understanding began to replace anger. Forgiveness didn't come all at once. It was a gradual thawing, a decision to see the scared, vulnerable child behind the deception. And with time, Emily found it in her heart to forgive, to embrace the unexpected journey they had shared. In the quiet aftermath of Samantha's confession, Emily found herself grappling with a new reality. She mourned for Lily all over again, the pain fresh and sharp. But alongside the grief, there was Samantha, a girl who had unexpectedly entered her life and changed it irrevocably. Emily faced the future with a complex mix of sorrow for what was lost and a cautious hope for what was to come. Despite the shocking truth, the bond they had formed remained undeniable. Emily recognized the positive changes they had brought into each other's lives. Samantha had brought laughter and purpose back into her home, while Emily had provided Samantha with safety and care. This mutual enrichment was a testament to the strength of their bond, one not easily broken by truths and revelations. With the past laid bare, Emily and Samantha began to plan for the future. They talked about school, therapy, and the support they would need to navigate this new chapter of their lives. It was a future they would face together, building on the foundation of understanding and forgiveness they had laid. They were determined to turn the page, to write a new story from the pieces of the old. Together, Emily and Samantha began to redefine what family meant to them. It was no longer just about blood or the past. It was about the love and care they shared in the present. They were creating a different kind of family, one built on choice, resilience, and the understanding that family is about more than just who you are born to. It's about who you choose to love and support. As their story drew to a close, Emily and Samantha, hand in hand, faced the future with hope and determination. They knew the path ahead would not be easy, that there would be challenges and moments of doubt, but they also knew they would face them together, ready to heal, grow, and build a life that, while different from what they had expected, was full of potential and promise.